Okay, let's jump in and talk about a couple of things first. Um, First, I would love to get an idea from your campus this weekend on. We moved the welcome to the end of the first set. So I was at East Valley Saturday night and it was awesome. Pastor Adam did an amazing job. Not only that, I counted. There were 8 people in the room at the end of the first song, and there were 38 people in the room by the end of the set. So kind of does go with what we're saying that after one song it's still not a lot of people, but that was one campus. Um, so I would just love to know how that went. Pablo did a great prayer over the ring out. So the energy was stayed high. The music continued under Pastor Adam. He introduced Fredo, went straight to the bumper. It was seamless. It was really good. So I would just love to know. I don't expect that it was seamless everywhere, but I would still love to know how you thought it went in terms of placement and not having it after the first song. I'm assuming most of us like that better. But then, how did you think it went overall? Just little snapshot.
At San Bernardino, it went really well, and I actually enjoyed greeting the church, like, over the intro, grateful, and that was really great. And then Pastor Chris did a really good job. We were, like, just acoustic and cajon, so we didn't have, like, the ring out option. So we still did our best in, like, keeping energy up, but I think for campuses that are acoustic, having, like, maybe walking through what that could look like a little bit more, because we needed to ask them to take a seat. My prayer wasn't over a ring out, so we had to make some adjustments in that. Giving it a moment for everyone to kind of do the shuffle, sit down, and then start to address them. There are just a couple of those things that I recognize that out in an acoustic setting, it does feel a little bit different. You have to really work hard to create that energy.
Yeah.
But Pastor Chris did really great. I liked it. There was a good amount of people in service, and he did a good job of connecting worship into kind of here's where we're going now. So I liked it.
Good.
I preferred that for sure.
Scotty Kesey was our host, and he's a really good host. The placement of it I really liked. He felt a little bit awkward with the music playing underneath him still. He made a comment that he felt like he should have been like, instead of like, hey, like, because we did switch the order of Living Hope in here again, so we ended like on a big ring out. And it went from that into Daniel Martz still playing underneath him, which I feel like he felt awkward as to like, should I have high energy, should I not? Because with the pad still playing underneath, I guess he felt it was like more of a serious vibe instead of like a hype. And so I don't know what the right call would have been in that, or if there was like a solution to that, or if it was just something that's new to him. But I really did like the placement of it. Numbers wise, it was a good move.
I think there's something that could easily be practiced and service run through of the prayer over the ring out that doesn't last the whole entire time. And man, the campus host is in place. Like, so that ring out in Jesus' name, amen. Hey, there's not even like a pause. Like, it's not even that noticeable that we went from a ring out into just music underneath, because the verbal just keeps going, which I think is something that you could practice and service run through to make sure that. So as soon as I hit this, you're already on stage. You're not waiting for the end of my prayer to come out. You're here, and you're ready to just, hey, I'm Scott. Welcome to, that kind of a thing. So
That's what Chris did at San Bernardino, and that's what felt awkward about it, was because I was still, like, we were still kind of shuffling, like everyone was taking a seat. It almost needed like a beat before he started talking, because it felt like we were talking over each other. I don't know. Like, I'm just saying that's how it felt at San Bernardino. Like, having it so close together.
But you weren't having them be seated.
I didn't tell them to sit. They kind of naturally started to sit when the prayer was done, but it was a little bit like.
My preference, if we keep this here, is we're not asking people to be seated. That we just pray and we're done, and the host takes it and has them be seated and all that stuff. We're not we're leading in worship, we're praying, and we're out of the way, and then the campus pastor, the campus host does that, which I think just feels a little bit more. Again, what I've said before in that other meeting is, for every service, there's I think there should be 3 people who stay in their lanes. You have the teacher, the campus host, and the worship leader, and as much as possible, keeping those people in their lanes to do what they're supposed to do and nothing else. So transitions can get a little bit, but I like it better when you're just like, Pablo just prayed and was done, and Pastor Adam was standing there. As soon as he said in Jesus' name, amen, Pastor was like, hey, Pastor Adam, welcome to. It was that kind of handoff. So it felt pretty natural. I thought.
Do you think if you don't ask them to take a seat, that'll become a place where the church starts to get like, do I sit, do I stand? I don't
Not
know
if the campus pastor, campus host has them be seated. Like Adam told us all to take our seats, and
Oh,
we
he
did.
did.
Yeah, that's what Ian did.
Yeah.
And it
At the
wasn't
beginning
awkward.
of his.
He just came up. He was like, "Hey, you guys can have a seat,"
Yeah.
or he welcomed them. He's like, "You can have a seat." It wasn't awkward at all.
And then he did other welcome stuff after.
Yeah, they were cued. They were ready.
Mm.
It didn't feel awkward. to
We
me.
stayed standing for Adams, and then he had us be seated when he was done for the message, and that didn't feel awkward either because he was
Oh,
brief.
Okay.
It was
And
very.
did you have
Yeah,
music
it's
playing underneath? Okay.
Yeah.
I think then that's like that awkward like part is just who's gonna ask him to take a seat
Right.
and when.
Yeah. Which is why the service run through, it's being communicated. It is being communicated. And service run through, that's where we work out all of those things. So that's why they need to be there to practice those transitions, to know, to hear from you. We're gonna end right here. I'm gonna pray briefly. As soon as I start to pray, you can make your way onto the center of the stage. That's where we can work all of those things out so that it's as fluid as possible. So, it went well, like Arrowhead.
That went well.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. There were so many other things going on that I was so happy when Ian got on stage. I was like, God, praise God. Literally, my prayer was like, God, thank you. Ian, please come. That wasn't that bad, but it was a little frantic.
Yeah.
I have a funny story
No good.
when we get to that point.
Yes.
Story
can't
time.
wait. Love funny stories.
I'm excited.
Was it Aurelio all weekend at High Park?
That's on Saturday, Aurelio on Sunday.
Okay.
Placement is good. I think it's
Yeah,
for what we have to make work. I think it works. It definitely exposed that the weight of the host now is greater. Before they could sort of come in the beginning, make their way through it, and I have the greenest hosts right now, and so they're like, oh, hi, still kind of feeling themselves out. It's definitely more exposed right then. So that was good. It's a good heads up for all of our host trainings and communicationers and things like that. So I'm down with the switch. Still think we should pick at it and figure out the best way to figure out what information we have to communicate and the way to do it. Because it was definitely the clunkiest part of our service. Was that one?
I think just keeping it brief is like a
Brief
huge
is the
Because
mandate.
it's awkward if you're up there with, I don't know, if you're up there more than a minute,
Yeah.
it's a
Supposed
really
to be-
long time.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 30 seconds.
They were quick. It was still weird.
Yeah.
And
Ian was
Adam's
really-
not quick at all, but he's just really good at it.
Mhm.
So
yeah, it's natural, so it doesn't feel weird.
Yeah,
And
same with
they're
Chris.
Not. Yeah.
I don't know what like content necessarily they all covered, but what was so cool about Chris's was that he made it like really personal. Like I'm the campsite, like I'm gonna be outside. I really want, like I
Yeah.
want to meet you. Like it was so personal and inviting, and I feel like Nancy and Aurelio get to like here's the information. It's not like, hey, like I'm glad you're here, you know. And so I don't know if even like that directive of like shake off some of the
Yeah.
you have to get these things covered. But
Well, they did a host training this past weekend. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
And it's not easy. I mean, I don't expect them to have it nailed. They're both new to being on stage, and both, admittedly, like, I don't want to do this, but I've been asked to do this, so that I'll do it well.
yeah.
But the experience that comes from being able to read what's happening on stage in the room and to navigate through that in a natural way is a fine art.
Mhm.
And so just understanding that, that was definitely a lot more needed. I think now that we've moved it to a place where it's like we've gone a huge distance from when we started to where we are now as church, and now we want to continue that responsibility. So
Yeah.
figuring it out.
Who hosted at Palm? Do you know? In Fredo's absence.
Stephanie Schaefer.
Okay. How'd it go at Marina Valley?
The placement was really cool, and I was the only one who was playing underneath that transition, just because since we didn't have rehearsal, I just kind of wanted to make it easy.
Yeah.
So everybody else in the band kind of like packed up, or they kind of like exited the stage, and that seemed cool to me. I wasn't thinking about it as much because Pastor Jeff was asking a lot of body language from me to let him know when to come on, and that was a little bit annoying. But like, cause he just kept having to think about like, okay, gotta look at him now, and like, there were a couple of times where it was like later, cause like he wasn't paying attention when I tried to give him said body language. And I don't want to just look over like while I'm trying to lead worship. But it wasn't as bad all the time. There were a few times I was kind of in my head more. And then having it at the beginning, I liked greeting the church as well at the beginning. I don't know if we have to like say our names and everything. He's like, tell him your name and tell him all this. I'm like, I don't want to do that, but I submitted because he's my pastor, and I was like, all right, I'm going on. But it wasn't as natural as it would have been if I wasn't forced to like say my name and all this other stuff.
What other stuff was he asking you to say other than your name?
It's mostly
Social
like
security
he's like,
number,
make it really
birthday,
warm. He's like, say like
Your favorite actor.
kind of the normal. I think it was really the name thing that got me. But he's just like, say your name and say I'm glad you guys are here. Like we're gonna. He's like, just make it really warm and stuff. It's gonna try to make it warm. I'm gonna tell him who I am.
I'm Delon. I'm such and such years old.
I'm a
Hey, I'm
Pisces.
Delon and I'm warm. You guys want to stand on the same?
So, but everybody seemed to like it at the end. It's funny at the very end. Spencer's like, we should try putting it maybe like after the first song or something, or in different places. We're like, nope. But it seemed like at the end it was cool because it didn't break up in that moment. It did exactly, I feel like, what you guys wanted it to do.
Well, I was like, I'd like to try this, and you know, there's people who are, all right, let's try it. So we're gonna find out tomorrow.
I really like the placement.
The win for me was, and what I shared in the meeting that I was in last week is, I was, like I think I shared in here, I was 6 minutes late to Lake Arrowhead last week. So I didn't hear Ian's warm welcome after the first song. I had no context for who Matt was on the screen. And I was only 6 minutes late. So I think that and Kelly and I are like completely like, we are like drumming this together. Then it's not a win if most of the visitors who are new, and then you've got, well, most people who are new show up early because they're not, I'm like, no, not most people with kids, they're not showing up on time for anything most of the time. And so even if you're early and you're in there, you're still like, you're looking around, you're kind of, by the end of that 15-20 minutes, there's a settledness. There's okay, like we've sang some songs, and now, oh, who are you? Oh, and who's on the screen? And oh, what do you want me to do? There's just a settledness, I think, to doing it. And that's why as I tried to watch a lot of different services from a lot of different places, I think North Point does something at the very beginning, and they were the only ones. Life Church, they just go. They just start off and they go, and it's at the end of the set. And Hillsong, it's at the end of. So it's a common thing because and I think for North Point, it's because they're targeting the unbeliever. They're not. We're speaking to the saved, aware of the lost. They are. We're trying to get right to the lost. So they're singing secular songs, and they're like, hey, they're providing all kinds of context. But that's not what we're doing. That's not our goal. So that's really good feedback though, and I'll share that tomorrow. Yeah, so there were no major hot button issues to go over. Celebrating that, what Maria shared, Joshua Baker did a really great job at Palm, which is awesome. Celebrating that Ben did a great job at Marina Valley.
Great.
It's really great. And that Steve was there.
Yeah.
Steve, I love Steve.
I think sorry, I'll make this really brief. I didn't put it on the hot
Thank
button
you.
thing.
Okay, no.
But so I had lunch with Steve, and the past few times I've been talking to him, he's been mentioning how like he's been playing bass because he felt like that's what's necessary. But he's like, I do have these other things I do, and I've heard that from like a few people. And I just wanted to have us be like more mindful of that, because I don't think it's a thing that's like burning. Like it's not like I have to do this now, but it seems like a growing number of people are like, yeah, I have these other gifts, and like I don't feel like anybody sees them, or I don't feel like anybody cares that I do these other things. So if there's any way for us to kind of encourage that, and maybe if they're not, you know, some things we know they're not gonna do that on the platform, but there are some gifts that I think could be developed to the point where they are, and I think we just get in such a like relentless Sunday rush that like those don't get seen as much. And I feel like if we don't see them, like we're gonna ultimately lose them. So
What else does Steve do?
he plays keys, he sings, he has like 30 years of worship leading and directing experience and stuff, and he's like I play bass because he's like I want to submit to what you guys are doing, and you know, like I'm willing to be led. He's like, I'm solid and stuff, but he plays keys. He says he's not thoroughbred, but we've seen him play keys on that video.
It's actually pretty good.
And he's
He's playing some gospel stuff. I was like, oh my gosh, like
Cool.
I think he was actually kind of better than Virgie in the sense that he can play a worship song by ear and actually learn the parts, not just read a lead sheet and like not really play with the band necessarily.
Yeah, and every time we're singing, he's like, I heard some harmonies in there that nobody is doing, and like I don't mean you have to put a mic in front of me, but I'm like, I'd like to hear him sing now too, you know, just to hear those, to not be like, oh yeah, you said that, and just whatever.
Yeah.
My first Sunday in rehearsal, actually Thursday, my first Thursday rehearsal, I was like, who's singing? That sounds pretty good. And it was Steve back there just singing off mic, singing harmony during rehearsal.
Give him a mic.
I was like, dang.
Can you sing and play bass? Is that doable?
That's what he did it.
If you're not doing a lead, you know. I think
Let him
it's
sing
super
harmony, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Pull that out.
if he's proficient, now 30 years, he can probably do both.
Yeah.
Probably
Sure.
actually.
Kenny, when I was there,
Bass is
Kenny
the
was
best.
singing from the drums.
He was, yeah. That's how we were introduced to
Leading.
Kenny. Yeah.
Lead vocal from the drums.
Yeah.
That's always like, I'm
Kenny
like,
is funny.
that's impressive.
Did he have a headset?
I couldn't see him. That was before we redid the.
I don't think he had
He
it.
was like, yeah. Anyway,
The mic was like this though.
yeah,
It was one of
Garth
those.
Brooks. Garth Brooks.
yeah.
Wow.
So that's helpful feedback. I do want to talk a little bit about Easter, but I'm gonna wrap up this past weekend with your funny story.
Okay. So I had Virgie on keys this Sunday, and it's the first time I've had her on keys
The incident.
since said incident.
Since Pablo created a war, I had to go in.
Yeah. So overall, it wasn't really an attitude issue. She did get a little, I guess, feisty, a little fiery when I told her that sound's not going to work or such and such. But she received it well and she changed it. What was funny, it's funny now, it wasn't funny then, was for Grateful, there's kind of like a synth key part, and she originally picked like a sound that literally sounds like the baseball theme, take me out to the ball game.
Yeah.
She
He
likes
gets
that
as close
one.
to Oregon as
I'm
she
like,
can.
yeah, it was
Every
like
time.
Oregon / like, I was like,
Sparkly.
I don't want to be at a baseball game this morning. I want to be worshiping, so we need to change that. I
But
said
you
it
did say
in a
that.
nice way, of
Yeah.
course.
Which
So we changed it to just like straight keys because she couldn't find a sound. But in Grateful, she starts playing just like kind of the lead line, but it's almost like Virgie just goes off the road and starts just doing the Virgie show. She was like da-na-na-na-na-na-na, playing all this stuff that didn't sound good with the band at all. And like in run through, I was like, okay, she's trying to find the lead line. She's kind of there she is, but it just got worse. So like the first service, I'm literally looking at Luke. I'm like, so we ended up muting her for the whole service, whole second service, because it was that bad. And she just did weird things like stop playing in the middle of the song to switch a sound.
Yeah.
So,
Guys, I have a question.
I was
How
like-
did Virgie make it onto the team
That's,
when we did
I'm
auditions?
actually, I'm
That's
actually
what I want to know.
asking, like, seriously, because she's not proficient at that at all. Like, as far as worship music, I don't know if it just she wasn't prepared, but she said she spent 4 hours a day, which I'm like, there's no way.
She's got nothing else to do, so she probably did.
Practicing the wrong thing.
Maybe so.
Practicing the wrong thing. for hours a day.
Maybe she was
Get
practicing her
going.
little lead lines. I mean, those were pretty
What
banging.
was anyone at her audition?
I wasn't.
She did fine.
She nailed. Well, that's what I heard was that she
played,
had all the
She
songs
played the
down.
parts. She knew what she was doing.
Yeah.
She made the changes. She asked good questions. Like
So
I heard
maybe
from the
it was
she
audience
just
did fine.
it was one where like she hasn't been playing for a while, so she's a little rusty.
It's weird. It's like a pattern. It's not a one-off thing.
It's not. My, no.
That's happened before.
My experience, in as much as I have been up at Lake Arrowhead and played with her, is that if the directive that I would give to her would be more pad focused and
Right.
less lead line focused. So
Yeah.
I would pull lead lines from the songs,
Okay.
not because, and she would come in ready and prepared to do them, but they just weren't executed well.
Yeah.
So
They just
instead
seemed
of like
really off.
don't play, I mean just the pads and the warmth that can still be there with solid chord changes, and then there were some, there were a couple songs where it was, she was fine. But anything that feels really rhythmic or just even just with that click timing and stuff,
Yeah,
it's
that was
just
the issue too.
yeah, because she'll stop playing and like she'll adjust her light. I don't know if she still has a light with her music. And so there's just a lack of self-awareness.
Yeah.
And so
It
that's
seems like she's in her own
so if you
circle.
can if you can simplify like on the front end.
Okay. That's good to know.
Either that or if we can create lead sheets that she can follow. No.
I would
So
give her
We're
more
not
of
gonna do that.
yeah. So
Why?
just
What she needs to learn to do is to contextualize. If we just give her spoon feeding of everything, she's not gonna grow.
That's right. I've been just thinking lately that lead sheets might be a good thing to have as our team grows, and some people
Yeah.
read music and don't
Yeah.
hear it by
I think
ear.
the problem with lead sheets with her though is she'll just play it like sterilely, notes on the
there's
staff,
not a
no
lot of
feeling.
intuition, right?
Lead sheets would be helpful for most people.
Mhm.
For Virgie, it's going to end up being a crutch to help
Right.
her. To
Because she
keep
does
her
need
from
to like be
being
aware
better.
of the band and the field. We're not just black and white, staff and notes. Like there's a feel, there's something we're going for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she wasn't on board at all. Even when I was like, hey, we need to like listen to the band, like we need to listen to each other. We're not together. Like Ian was like, bro, you okay? I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah, it sounds choppy. I'm like, we're not playing together at all.
Yeah.
Run through was rough. And then we kind of pulled it together first service. Second service was when we finally kind of found our rhythm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and muted some people.
But one of the things that Becca shared with me from leading in East Valley from last weekend was, because in a similar way, I mean, East Valley's band is very cohesive, but they don't have a Thursday rehearsal ever. So she put a lot of notes onto Planning Center and had people from her band tell her that was really, really helpful to me to have all of this information leading into rehearsal. So one takeaway for everybody on weeks that we don't have Thursday rehearsal is your planning center should look a lot more populated with notes and not just putting them on there, but then telling your team, we don't have rehearsal on Thursday, so I put a lot of notes on planning center for harmony lines, for things to play, not to play. Please go through that. Let me know if you have any questions before, so you're kind of, you're not gonna solve every problem that way, but you can reference the notes that you put on there
Yeah.
as a way of, so like I put on Planning Center, what I want you to do for this song is, like for Grateful, no lead line, just
Yeah,
rhythm.
so that was my fault because
Yeah.
on Planning Center I tried to give her notes because you had told me to give her lots of notes.
Yeah.
So I gave her
Hi Virgie, not this kind of notes.
Yeah, I said, hey, this is a synth lead line. I need you to split the keyboard, blah blah blah. But I think that was not the right directive. We need to pull her back on
Yeah.
more
Yeah,
pads.
I would give her everything simple,
Okay.
super simple. And then we're gonna do a musicians workshop in the summer.
Mm,
Heads up, everyone, we're gonna do a musicians workshop,
that'd
and
be fun.
I would mandate for her that she has to come to the keys workshop.
Okay.
Like it would be to continue being on the team, you're gonna have to. This will really help you. This will be really good. I don't even know what it's gonna be like yet, but it will be. So,
Yeah.
and that'll just kind of be the word out to everybody. So,
Cool. Yeah, that'd be good.
way to.
Yeah.
Power through.
And I just had another quick question on her. Does she have an expectation that she's going to be scheduled every week, or do you feel pressured to schedule her every week?
I don't feel pressured. I think she wants to be though.
Sure.
Like she was like, hey, like I'm not the person that needs a break. Like I'm
Right.
ready to go. I was like, oh, thanks, Virgie. Yeah, we'll definitely be
Oh,
using
thanks,
you
Virgie.
more.
See you in May.
Like we'll.
Tell her to go be with her family. Actually, don't do that.
How's your son? No.
Well, and as you're developing your team up there, and
I want to give
auditions are
Steve
gonna
a chance. I want to
you
bring
could
more
probably
people in.
even somebody from down the hill, just to even give opportunities for her to be in the room and hear the sound of a different keys player.
She
I don't
doesn't have
know.
her fingers in her ears like she did when I was there.
But because what it just kind of shows that
Took her pictures and took her scene.
she doesn't have to be scheduled every weekend,
Right.
and
Yeah,
so
and she won't. Like after Sunday, I'm like, I need a rest. Like we'll figure something else out.
Yeah. You also have just go into thinking Thursday rehearsal. We can iron a lot of kinks out there.
It's true.
You can give her a
Bad
lot
Sunday not to have a Thursday
Yes.
rehearsal.
You can give her a lot of directives. Hey, between now and Sunday, please
That's true.
change this, do this, and then see how receptive she is to that.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
it's true. Cool.
great, awesome. All right. Did you have something?
No.
You just did. Okay. So, really quickly, conversation about Easter. We're gonna be working on the set. There's a creative idea right now coming out of the message that would be a video song collaboration, like kind of the video woven into a song. It would be a song that we introduced at Cultivate. It's called As You Find Me. You love me as you find me. Your love's too good to leave me here. Really fantastic song. And the vision is that we would start telling a story through video and weave into the song, go back to the video, and then finish out with the rest of the song. And so Rishi would probably just be creating a track that would just, the video would be a part of the track and every campus would get that. We're talking about doing a couple of things for the opener. We may start with So Will I, because we have that great video that we've only used once at Cultivate Conference, so the church hasn't seen it. As Easter, there's going to be a lot of people kind of coming in, different times. Have a great scripture reading over the intro. We're probably going to go straight into Living Hope, like here, not like build it up. But the other fun thing that we're going to do, and Anthony Flores is going to help us, is he's going to translate part of Living Hope into Spanish, and we're going to do it at all of our campuses. So either the chorus or the bridge in the chorus. He's really stoked about it. We have a lot of Spanish-speaking people that go to our church, and I think it would be really cool. So obviously, we'll have to get that recorded so that everyone can learn it. But just so you know, I went to Saddleback last year, and they did it, and hardly anyone on stage was actually Spanish. So it can be done. And I went to a mission trip in Mexico, and I had learned all my songs in Spanish. I remember them. Es la vida. Wait, hold on. Yo tengo gozo, 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 gozo en mi corazón. En mi corazón. Gary and I are good. The rest of you guys will have to learn it. We're fine. So, but I'm excited about that. So, we have a meeting today actually about the song and the video to kind of know if we're moving forward with that. And then we've met initially to talk about the set. So all of that information is going to be coming really rapidly, really soon. That's a really important note. The second important note, if you have something to jot a note down on, I need to connect with you guys about some Tim Carson information, which I'm excited about. Alright, so we're going to be scheduling your lessons with Tim. And so I'm going to give you the information that you need to know that he needs from you. So by the end of the day, Thursday, he would like everyone to upload 2 videos to YouTube, marking the videos unlisted, not private. I don't know what that means, but he does. He's a YouTuber. And then email the links to him. So I will give you guys his email address. Okay, tim@vocalartistry.com. That's his email address. tim@vocalartistry.com. Here's what he says. The song should include 1 up-tempo and 1 slower song. Show me each person's vocal strengths as well as areas that need work. It's okay and even preferred that the songs chosen are a bit of a stretch. That will give me more insight than choosing something safe. I would recommend performance songs over worship tunes, as performance songs typically require more vocally. Or I would say to choose a worship song that's a stretch. This is neither here nor there, but it's just an observation. Is that girl's name Melissa at East Valley? She's a good vocalist, but the beginning of Here Again, her lower register. Same with Brittany Lawshaw, lower registers. So there are songs that do stretch you vocally in the worship arena. It's just picking one. So even Tremble, like those songs that start off low and then you have to end up actually belting it out. That's what he wants to hear. So again, by the end of the day, Thursday, and upload 2 videos to YouTube, mark them unlisted, email him the link. So once you have those ready, I would just say, hey, introduce yourself. I'm Morgan, worship leader at Sandals. Here's my information. We're going to create the lessons in groups. So there's going to be group 1 and group 2. Amber and I are going to work on this after this meeting. He would actually like to get started on Monday, but since I've told you guys to take Monday off, I'm going to hopefully have Becca and Cash take those Monday lessons. There's only 2. And then there's like 6 and 6. So there's group 1 has 6 people, group 2 has 6 people. And so if you have any, so there will be lessons on Wednesday, like 6 lessons, group 2. So I'm just looking through this. So what we're going to do is we're going to work on the schedule. And I would say as much as you're able to work with that schedule, try to do it. Because he wants to have you like in groups, which makes sense to me because he's probably like tracking, I have these 6 people in group 1, these 6 people in group 2, I'm doing group 1 today, I'm doing group 2 tomorrow. Kind of just makes more sense than just kind of having random rapid people go in there.
Evening classes, right?
They are, Wednesdays will be during the day, Thursdays will be during the day, Friday will be some during the day, and then the master class at night.
I have something on Tuesday.
There's 2 master classes, which is for everybody, and then there's 2 individual lessons for everybody.
Okay, so Wednesday, Thursdays during the day, Tuesday, Fridays in the evening.
Yep. There'll be some lessons
Master
Tuesday
classes.
afternoon as well. So, yeah.
Where are the master classes? Are they here?
Yes, everything's here.
Everything's here.
So what we're hoping to do, Amber met with Riley. I think we might use the K1 area because there's a stage and screens and production stuff there, and then for the individual lessons have a classroom just off of that. So he's kind of set up in one place. We were going to do the green room, but then that's just a lot of moving back and forth. And he wants certain things, even like he wants a mic for your individual lessons. So, does that all make sense?
Yep.
Awesome.
I've never uploaded a video on YouTube unlisted. Is there a tutorial on how to do that? Okay. And can we just pull something from archive from the video standpoint?
I would say yes if it fits into the criteria of being like a challenging song. I think that would be probably fine. So, yeah. And don't be nervous to send him something like unedited, you like in your bathroom, whatever.
Raw. In
Yeah.
the shower.
He's a brilliant guy. Did you just send an invitation?
Just
Eddie,
like
can you send me
Steve
the
Will.
link too? 'Cause I like to-
You're not down.
Oh gosh. Sorry, what?
What are you inviting me to?
Oh, this is sending it to. It should just be online. I
No,
apologize.
you send it to everybody.
Oh. Hey everybody. There's a masterclass with Tim Carson at 11 on Wednesday. In case you're wondering.
I was like, wait, what? Okay, but here's the other really important piece of this. The workshop that he's doing on Saturday morning, campus worship leaders. This needs to be the drum that you're beating with your vocalist. And I mean, here's how you're beating it. Some of you want to move from being a background vocalist to a lead vocalist. What you're willing to invest in yourself and into your own growth tells me a lot about how much you're willing to work towards that. This is an opportunity that they need to take advantage of. They just absolutely need to. So make it a group outing. Hey guys, there's gonna be food here. This is gonna be totally worth it. You're gonna learn so much in this. Like, I've been to them, and I'm telling you that I've never been to anything better as a vocalist. So for the next, I'm gonna try to make a video inviting all of our vocalists that we'll kind of send out through Planning Center, or even we are gonna put the thing on our social media for people who follow, so that they get that information. The link is open. It's $15, which is like nothing.
Cheap.
Yes, super
Dirt
cheap for this kind of a thing. We're incurring the most of the cost, so we're paying for it. But people usually care more about stuff that they've invested in themselves. So from now until that week, just really be on your vocalist. I've had a chance to be around at most of the campuses, and we have a lot of good vocalists. But everybody needs to be getting better, and vocals typically don't think about getting better. They just sing. I just sing. It's just what I do. Well, are you a better singer now than you were? Like, my range increased when I started focusing. When I give lessons, we test your range. Like, you come in, you're at an A. Well, 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, I want you to be able to sing a C. That's work. That's putting work in. So really be communicating to that. Once we get the video done, if we don't get it done this week, it'll be next week. But you're just in contact with all of our vocalists. We'll sit together, we'll hang out together. This is for us. This is a huge benefit to our team. Some of you have desires to be, and we're working on something. We're working on a process to help background vocalists who want to be a lead vocalist. Well, we don't have that right now. That's going to be probably a Rogo project, where we create something where they can, but they want to, and they didn't come to this, or they didn't. Then I'm like, I don't even feel compelled to listen to you, because here we gave you a chance to learn a lot, to get a lot better, and you just like, yeah, no, my kid. And I get it. It's a Saturday. You got to make arrangements and all that, but it's that good. Like, the material is that good. It would be like Matt Brown saying to all the campus pastors, hey, Andy Stanley's coming here for a class on communication on Saturday. I think you guys should all come. Well, yeah. Like, Tim Carson in the vocal world is Andy Stanley in the communicators world. He's literally brilliant. So, excuse me while I fangirl when I meet him for the first time, okay? So we just want to push. I want the family ministers here to be full. I want our vocalists to be there. I'm gonna have Taylor get some youth vocalists and see if they want to come. We're gonna pay for Rogo people to be there. I'm probably gonna bring Addison because she's gonna be in 7th grade. It's just we want to take advantage of it. It's good stuff.
So this would be something we invite, like, background vocals to.
All
So
vocalists.
everyone who's said, hey, I want to sing.
Steve, we want to sing.
Steve, Jean.
Yep.
Cool.
Let's go.
So are we gonna just create a planning center invite like we do for our worship gathering?
Yeah.
Can we do
Can we
that?
do that for the vocal
In addition
workshop?
then to your video that you're gonna do, I feel like there's like 3 different ways they're getting their campus worship leader personal invite. got something
gonna be on
on their
social media.
calendar. They get an invite in, email, and then see a video from you.
Yeah.
We just have to make sure if they say yes to the planning center that they're also registering on the short link, which is separate.
That's what
Oh, got
that's
it.
confusing if people are like,
Oh,
oh,
okay.
I confirmed on planning center.
Oh, okay. There's a.
Well,
If that gets
we
You
could
just put an email on.
So the link to register, make sure to include that in your email to the team, which is
move.sc/vocal bootcamp.
Do we need to register for that too?
Yeah,
yes.
She sent us
There's
the
a
promo code.
We should have
there's a promo
Okay.
code in the it's in the invite for the day of.
And the 13th is the only one that's open to the public.
Only one.
Okay.
It's one stop shop.
What about
It's in-
people who ask or sign up but maybe aren't on our team yet? So like we're putting it on social media. Like I just so we can filter some of those questions.
So when you do the post on social media, just in the post, put who it's for. For if you are a vocalist serving at any campus at Sandals Church, this is for you. That's how we do for Cultivate. If you're this is for you. Does that mean that there might be other people who they can DM you for more information or DM you with questions? What I want to do is reserve the space that we have for our team first. And if we have people on the outside of that who say, well, I think I might audition in June. Well, we have a spot, you can come. I want to fill it up, but I want to fill it up with our team first. So, does that make sense? Okay. Guys, there's going to be chicken minis there. Don't worry.
So the master class that's happening on Saturday, is that the same
That's
thing?
not a master class.
What is that?
It's a workshop.
So,
A
it's a workshop.
And then what are the master classes?
Those are just for you guys who've been doing the individual lessons.
Okay.
He takes what you're doing in the individual lessons, and then he's gonna take that further in the master class with you guys. So he'll have, hey Pablo, you and I worked on this day in your lesson. You're gonna come up, and we're gonna work on this like with these people. He's open to having like Tim Ray and Johnny Kelly at the master classes to observe, like because they're not getting lessons, and Matt Ritchie too, but it's the master class are supposed to be like, here's what we did in our individual lesson, and now we go to the master class and we fine tune this with everybody. So
Cool.
yeah.
Is there a way to record those? Are we setting up a way to record those to watch them back?
I would say definitely take your device and record your lesson for sure, 100%, and we can talk to him about recording the master classes. He has to be okay with that and get the okay to be recorded, but you can record your lessons, and I would record your lessons, both of them. So, plus we're gonna buy his stuff, and he's gonna be selling his stuff too, so our team can buy, and their CDs. I mean, they're like $25, but you get better when you do them. So, okay, great, awesome. Okay, that's what I have to cover. Christina has
Yes,
a Rogo
quick.
update.
Quick Rogo update. So Tuesday, Morgan sent out an email that you guys should have all received. Just kind of touch points of where our Rogo team is at. Last Monday, Melanie did the vocal transition, or the transitions training and vocal leading. The Monday before that, home base before that, they had the worship bullpen training with Eddie and Melody. So they've gotten kind of the big picture view of everything. Today, they're going to be getting a production intensive, so all things behind the scenes production. And then next Monday, they're getting how to run a rehearsal. And then all things logistically, spiritually. So literally at this point, my hope is that if you have a Rogo leader on your team scheduled at your campus, that they are starting to do all the things. So all the way from running a vocal rehearsal with you being there, you're the scaffolding, you're making sure that you're giving, immediate feedback and coaching, not necessarily in front of the team, but if there's something that needs to be addressed, that you're pulling them aside at the end of rehearsal. I'd love for us to be able to fast track and just to kind of see who starts to rise up, and kind of starts to pull ahead, Hunter Park is going to be just a little tricky because, as Melody and I were talking about last week, Hunter Park is the campus really for the developed, not the developing. And so transitions, we're really going to need to give them other campuses where they have some freedom to fail. There's not a lot of freedom to fail at Hunter Park. right now with the scrutiny and all. So we want to set them up for success well. So keep that in mind as you're scheduling like Stephanie and Carly and Elise, knowing that if they're at Hunter Park a bunch, they're going to miss out from having the opportunity to kind of really do some of those transitions at other campuses. So just maybe strategically keep thinking through like making sure that they are at other campuses, so that they can have that opportunity at least once, twice a month. So I don't know like matrix wise how to do that or what kind of system you have in place, but yeah. So I know you've got 3 of those girls that are at Hunter Park predominantly. So the other thing I'd really love to ask is if there's a way on the weekend evaluation form that we have now without having to create a separate question, but is there like a miscellaneous, like if there's something about volunteers?
I could add whatever you want on there.
Just add on the last hot button issue, in parentheses, ROGO students so that way if you have a ROGO student with you on your weekend, you, regardless of if they're good or bad or whatever, just an update on that form on how they did.
Yeah, like what you handed over to them and how that the execution of that went. There's a couple people that we're gonna kind of we're gonna try something this year instead of waiting to next year. Next year for ROGO 2020, I'd really like to pair our ROGO leaders with a campus worship lead, almost like you're interning them, you're their supervisor. They're getting a lot of just consistent connection, communication, walking with, not that they won't go to some of the other campuses, but I like to be a lot more intentional about Morgan, we're pairing you with this person, Garrett, we're pairing you with this person. This year Anthony is already at San Bernardino, but I've talked with Pablo about like Daniel Gottlob, maybe a couple times out of the month, being with him over at East Valley. He doesn't really have another male lead. The fact that there's 5 services, the extra stuff that it's putting on you, Pablo, vocally and things like that too, just being able to share the load. And then Elise, we're gonna try and get Elise at Woodcrest at least twice a month, maybe at Palm once a month, just so she's got some more opportunity to really kind of tackle some transitions. So we're gonna try that this year and just see how that works. But just yeah, my hope and my prayer is that we just get them fast tracked and that you guys just start handing things over, and then let me know if anything's kind of bumpy or somebody needs more work before they get another rep, those kinds of things. So any questions on that? How do you guys feel about that?
How should we factor that into how we're scheduling right now?
With like those people individually, like Daniel.
Yeah, like are you
Elise?
wanting to say I want Daniel at East Valley with Pablo at least twice a month, so that I need to not, because right now he's a Palm and he's my male lead, so I'm scheduling him first before he's going to
on Sundays.
So like how many weeks should I be creating capacity for them?
Well, I'm gonna meet with Daniel today. I have a one-on-one with him just to kind of talk through that. What does that do to your campus? Do you have other male leads that you can pull from? Because I know Pablo doesn't really have any.
Not right now, but I mean Joshua let out for the first time yesterday, so I can start giving him some more things. But right now it's just Daniel.
Okay.
'Cause
Well, I
think
definitely
you're
don't want to
scheduled elsewhere.
create a hole for you, so we can maybe it's at least once at East Valley or twice at because he's supposed to be doing like 3 times a month, so we can kind of figure out what that looks like.
He's doing like 3 or 4 at Palm right now.
Because there's the weekends
lot
where
of
they have
nights.
ROGO, which are 2 weekends out of the month. So those alternate ones could be at East Valley, where you do Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, so let's talk about
Or
that
one of those weekends.
and just make sure that we're
But
not leaving a hole for
the
you.
Joshua Baker is highly capable from what I've heard and seen.
Yeah, he actually applied. He was one of our worship leader applicants.
Yeah. Maybe let's talk more about
Okay.
him because he and I are actually meeting this week because he wants to talk more about his next steps or whatever. And I'm like,
Okay, yeah.
Cool.
Any other questions?
I just want to tell, well, everybody can know too, but like, especially since we're meeting Daniel,
led at Woodcrest this weekend, and I gave him I told him to run rehearsal on Sunday and work with Matt on arrangements, and he's did great. He's ready for more. So
Okay, cool.
yeah.
And I've asked the Rogo leaders, I said, hey, if you're scheduled with your worship leader at the campus, be that kid who's like, put me in coach, you know. And it may not always work, but I want to see who's taking initiative. So if you've got somebody who's with you saying, hey, can I take a prayer this weekend? Or you guys have final say, of course, you know, what feels right and everything. But I just want you to know that they've got the green light to go.
Sweet. Is Elise married?
She's getting married.
Oh, because someone named Bryce Weingarten.
That's her brother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, huh, okay.
Real common.
Yeah, as soon as I saw it, I was like, wow, that's interesting. What I would like to do today is I'd like to close and I'd like to spend some time just in prayer. And I would like for you just to kind of pray a personal prayer of gratitude for something in your life, something that that you're really grateful for, and that as we listen to you pray, we can celebrate with you, and we can personally, quietly in our own hearts, thank God. Lord, thank you, God, for doing that for Eddie. Thank you, God, for being that present with Christina. But I think gratitude is also contagious, and so sometimes when we're kind of or just that Monday morning, it's good to start out with just a refocus. I asked my kids, I was like, you guys have you heard about the fruits of the Spirit? And then he was like, nope. I was like, well, it's love, joy, peace. I'm going through. And he's like, I know that song. I'm like, right. Back to what I'm talking about. This is, and we just kind of started talking about how we don't think about that very much, but yet they're supposed to be the things that we're marked by as Christians. And it was a really good reminder for me, just kind of in the hustle and the bustle and the hard work and the weekend kind of, I don't know if it's a downer. I know Matt goes through this too, but Monday just kind of feels like, and here we go. So I think sometimes it's just good to pause and to pray, and not to ask for things, but just to thank God for things. Just to, I'm good, you're good, and thank you for your goodness. So, yeah, I'd like to do that. So if we could, let's start. Danny, if you'll go, we'll go around this way, and then I'll close this